Agree.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No.
I thought you were gonna say nuts.
This is where our worlds collide.
You chose the wrong profession.
There are people in the future who need us.
A show is going on in an opera house in Ukraine when, all of a sudden, a group of masked men walk on stage and start shooting people while breaking the instrument. Special forces from Ukraine show up at the same time as John and a group of CIA spies. His group rushes inside with a clear goal: to save an important American person and a special package. John's team doesn't stand out from the special forces because they wear fake outfits. They connect gas tanks to the vents so that everyone on the main stage can sleep. Then the team starts looking through the VIP booths. John swiftly eliminates a few guards before providing the man with the password to confirm their friendship. Bad guys are coming down the hall, so John grabs the man and uses a rope to help them jump through the window, asking the sleeping people to pretend he's not there. While John goes back to the team and finds a Ukrainian spy making plans to blow VIP while he gathers the bomb and heads to the coat station, where his friend has hidden the crucial package. After getting the metal box, he quickly runs to the maintenance room to meet up with his team and the VIP man, who tells them about a hidden tunnel. One of the spies, as part of their cover, changes clothes with him. The majority of the team is leading the VIP out of the building via the hallway. John and the disguised teammate go back to the main room to get the rest of the bombs. Suddenly, a Ukrainian soldier points a gun at him. John is shocked when the hole in the ground disappears, and the bullet that caused it flies back, killing the soldier and entering another man's gun. John sees a red string on this guy's backpack as he quickly walks away. Then, John puts all the bombs in a bag and throws them in the upper seats. He and his partner then run to the door and leave the opera house just in time for the bombs to go off. As soon as they enter the van, the Ukrainians immediately shoot John's partner in the leg, knowing he was not the intended target. Soon after, the Ukrainian beats and rapes John and his friend in a train yard to obtain information. John is hiding a poison pill in his clothes, and the Ukrainian takes it, but John's friend still has one left. When John falls, he grabs it with his mouth, bites it quickly, and passes out. After some time, John wakes up on a hospital bed on a ship that is sailing. A high-level CIA spy says the capsule didn't have cyanide in it. It only had a drug that made people sleepy. It was just a test to see how much John loved his country. For some reason, they only tell John the code word Tenet when they pick him for a secret task. When it passes, John sneaks into a mechanic's ship and acts like he is one of them. This lets him get back to land. He steals a car and then goes to a lab in the city to meet Laura, who knows the code word. Laura says that they are trying to stop World War III because it could be worse than the nuclear holocaust. Laura then gives John a gun that is empty. When he fires it, a bullet goes back into it. Laura also manages to make a bullet jump into her hand, expressing that she is learning things in an upside-down way. In the future, these entities' entropy will reverse, causing them to travel backwards in time. John also directs a bullet towards his hand, and Laura records it, allowing her to show him the video and confirm that the bullet caused him to drop it. While John works on the upside-down gun, Laura informs him that everything she studies comes from the future. They have discovered numerous intricate instruments that indicate the impending outbreak of a devastating war. John goes to Mumbai to meet British agent Neil because he wants to know who is selling the twisted guns. They agree on a way to get into the home of a dangerous arms trader. At night, they climb to the roof of a nearby. They land on the walls of the dealer's house. They run up and sneak in through the balcony, killing a few guards quickly before going after the buyer. John points the gun at him and asks about the upside-down bullets, but the man's wife, Priya, knows about Tenet. She tells him that the person selling the inverted ammunition is Andrei, a Russian billionaire who can talk to the future. Just then, the cops show up, so Neil and John use the same cords to jump out of the building. In London, John has lunch with a British spy agent. The man tells them that his wife, Kat, and her art store are the best way to get close to Andrei. Kat checked out a fake Goya that her friend Thomas had made, and Andrei bought it. However, once Andrei discovered the truth, he began threatening to make Kat his partner. After the agent gives John a fake Goya, he can get a meeting after the agent gives him a new fake Goya. After that, John sees Kat and tells her that he got the picture from Thomas. They end up having dinner together, and Kat says she didn't know the picture was fake when she checked to make sure it was real. Kat wants to run away from Andrei because he hurts her, but they have a son and she can't leave him. Kat also says that Andrei beat Thomas badly, which means she knows John is lying. John says he'll get back the drawing Andre is using to threaten her if she sets up a meeting between him and her husband. All of a sudden, Andre's evil guys show up and take Kat away. When John attempts to escape through the kitchen, he encounters more evil individuals. He quickly beats them all up with random kitchen items. The following day, John shows up at Kat's son's school. Kat informs John that the drawing is taking place in an Oslo Freeport, a location where Andre's company can conduct business without attracting police attention. Soon, Neil shows up at the Freeport, claiming to be a businessman who wants to take a tour. During the tour, he learns that if there is a fire, the vault room doors will revert to their factory settings, which makes them simple to pick. However, the company's lack of sprinklers means that the air in that room will escape. John and Neil both agree that the best way to keep everyone safe is to crash a plane into the Freeport. In order to fly, they hire Mahir, who brings his own group. When they go to the Freeport, they act like business people, saying they need to leave something in the vault. An employee then takes them there. Simultaneously, Mahir's team accommodates a large number of workers, enabling them to manage an airplane. As Mahir initiates the plane's flight, his men strategically drop hundreds of gold bricks to conceal their presence and deceive the approaching police officers. The team sneaks out just as the plane accelerates, allowing it to crash into the building and trigger a massive explosion. The vault releases the gas, prompting the worker to flee immediately. As Neil and John pick the lock with their secret tools from their bags, they exhale. As they try to stay ahead of the gas, they move around the vault and pick different locks. They finally get to a special hallway that leads to a secret vault. There are 2 doors, one blue and one red. They are situated on different sides of a room, separated by a glass wall adorned with bullet holes. John notices a number of guns scattered on the floor and realizes that this situation hasn't yet occurred. At that moment, a thick door that spins on both sides opens, and men in SWAT suits walk out. The man pushes Neil, who then chases after him. Neil gets on top of the man and takes off his helmet. What he sees shocks him. Simultaneously, the other soldier advances on John. During the fight, the attacker repeatedly calls the upside-down guns to his hand in an attempt to extract the bullets from the glass. This guy moves in a weird way, and John figures out that he's also upside down. After a long fight, John finally beats him. He gets the gun ready to shoot, but Neil shows up to stop him. When John tries to ask for help, the door opens, and the upside-down man slides backwards. A broken plane engine triggers a second explosion outside. When the paramedics come, Neil and John act like they aren't awake. John sees Priya again the next day. She says the gross door must have been a machine called a turnstile that turns people upside down. Someone sent Andre the technology from the future, yet it remains unmade. Andre was the one who dispatched the attackers to the opera house. Andre wanted the plutonium that John saw in the metal box. It is now in the hands of the Ukrainian troops, who will move it in a week. People from the past are attacking the present, so John wants to kill Andre. But Priya tells him John encounters Kat and informs her about the drawing's destruction, urging her to arrange a meeting with Andre. John finally meets Andre at a dinner party that night. Andre thinks John is having an affair with Kat. He makes threats against John and tells the guards to take him away. But John brings up opera, and Andre agrees to meet with him alone the next day. Andre tells Kat in the morning that his men got the drawing back before the fire got to it, which means he still has power over her. Then they set sail with John, who tries to win Andre over by telling him about the plutonium box. When the boat makes a quick turn, Kat lets go of Andre's harness to make him fall. After that, John gives Kat a gun to keep herself safe on Andre's boat. After that, he and Andre talk about how to get the plutonium back. Andre recounts his upbringing in a war zone and his efforts to recover plutonium from scattered warheads. Inside a very strange drum, he found some gold bricks and pages of directions with his name on them. Following those steps helped him become the outstanding man he is now. At night, Andre becomes enraged with Kat for her actions and prepares to beat her up. But Kat intervenes by warning him that if he does so, John will want to save her, implying that he must kill John. This forces Andre to stop. At that very moment, a helicopter lands on one of the boats, and workers bring out a huge and heavy package. John sneaks up behind Andre as he opens the package and finds upside-down gold bars inside. One is missing, and an employee says he has it. Andre killed the worker by beating him up. Then, a guard finds John and beats him up too. He then transports John to Andre, who is now wary of him, but still retains him. Andre gives John some money, and tells him not to talk to John. Convinces him to let Kat make the deal. On the day of the plan, Andre takes Kat to a warehouse to examine his guns, which have been turned upside down. Andre yells at Kat, who is terrified, and displays her gun out of nervousness. Andre immediately responds by beating her up. While police cars are all around, John and Neil are following the truck that is transporting the plutonium. A group of large cars, including a fire truck, are encircling the truck Andre had set up. John dons a firefighter's uniform and ascends the fire truck's aerial ladder, while the other vehicles collide with the police cars in an attempt to stop them, trapping the main truck in the middle. Andre's men also block the truck's radio, preventing them from calling for help. John adjusts the ladder so that he is above the truck. He then uses a small explosion to make a hole in the roof. He hops into the truck and blasts open the safe door to retrieve the case containing the plutonium box. Then he gets out, just as a police car starts to follow them. Andre's men shoot the car in order to stop it. John is now safe to get back into Neil's car. The two individuals, on the verge of escape, listen to the radio playing words in reverse. When the car in front of them starts moving in a strange way, they understand Andre wants to steal John's plutonium instead of keeping the deal. The upside-down car moves backwards next to theirs and starts to chase them. It gets close enough for John to realize that Andre is holding Kat hostage. Around the same time, a silver car on the road starts to move backwards. In order to save Kat, John throws the case to Andre. He then jumps into a different car with the box, leaving Kat in the first car, which no longer has a driver. Kristen opens the door, and Neil pulls up next to her so Andre can do a dangerous jump and get into Kat's car just in time to avoid a crash. Andre escapes, but more goons arrive and shoot. While Neil shoots back, some guys sneak up on John and Kat and take them away. After that, they take John to the warehouse, where a glass wall divides another room in half. On the other side, he sees Andre and Kat moving backward, and since Andre is talking backwards, a machine plays his words back in the correct order. Ivan threatens to shoot Kat if he doesn't reveal the location of the plutonium box, given that John has only thrown the empty case at him. At first, John doesn't want to talk, but when Andre shoots Kat from behind, John admits that he hit the gun in Neil's glove box. Suddenly, another Andre shows up on John's side and starts hitting him. Because he believes John is lying, he wants to know the truth. At that very moment, a group of soldiers walks into the room and starts firing. Andre and his friend quickly hide in the turnstile. Now Andre from John's side shows up on the other side to finish the loop. To conclude the timeline, all the previous events recur, but this time they occur in reverse order. After this, Andre leaves too. Neil then shows up and says the guards work for Priya and Tenet. John becomes enraged and confronts Neil. He wants to know why Andre knew all of their plans. Soldier Ives, on the other hand, says that what Andre did was a pincer action in time. To put it another way, half of Andre's men go back in time to reenact the plan and then tell the other half what happened. The second half then flips itself around and finishes the process successfully, forming a loop that keeps itself informed. Because Kat's wound is upside down, the soldiers can't help her. John wants to take her through the turnstile to reverse the effects, saying that he can use the machine in the Freeport to go back to normal later. The entire team guides Kat through the machine. On the other side, they see themselves through the glass. John wants to try to keep Kat from getting shot now that they are in the past. Soldier Wheeler gives him an oxygen mask and tells him to cover his whole body with a SWAT outfit. He warns him not to see his other self because they could die immediately. Then, John exits the building and finds himself adjusting to a world that is completely upside down. Everything here is backwards for him, from the air to the gravity. He gets into the silver car he saw earlier and drives to the shooting scene. He finds the empty case by the side of the road. John conceals himself and inserts a microphone to monitor Andre's case as he drives by. John begins to follow Andre, listening to him converse with his team. He learns that they have already checked the glove box and discovered he was lying. As he approaches, he witnesses his alter ego retrieving the case. The hidden plutonium box in the silver car also re-enters the case. It turns out that John threw it there first. Andre notices John at that moment, and he maneuvers his car to cause a collision. He then sets fire to the gas leak. Massive flames envelop the car, and a blast renders John unconscious. After a short time, John is shocked to find himself awake in the back of a truck with Neil and Kat. He finds out that the blast didn't hurt him because he was upside down. Instead of burning him, it made him very cold. John starts to question Neil because he must have known everything from the start. Neil tells John that he will tell him later who hired him. John recalls hearing Andre discuss an algorithm. Neil tells him that it's a machine that can flip the world around and end it. After some time, the truck stops at Oslo Freeport, where Mahir is crashing the plane. Neil and John put on clothes and carried a sleeping cat on a stretcher toward the building. When John tries to find a way in, the engine blows up and forces him through a door, showing that he was the SWAT officer who found his other self. The fight takes place again, but this time it's backwards, which shows that John is trying to avoid his other self by not hurting anyone. After reaching the turnstiles, John shoots the glass and jumps into the machine to turn around. He shows up on the other side and runs off. Neil from the past follows him and takes off his helmet. After recognizing John's face, Neil released him. John then lets Neil and the cat in through a door while he steals a van. Neil carefully enters the machine to avoid encountering his other self. The machine then restores both him and the cat to their normal state. They manage to escape in the car, and the cat is now able to recover normally. After some time, John goes to see Priya and tells her that he knows the formula was in the box he had to steal. According to Priya, a scientist will develop the reversing method in the future, but he fears its potential use in war. To keep the formula safe, the scientist cuts it into 9 pieces and sends each one back in time. The platinum box is one of those pieces, and Andre now has all 9. Many years from now, the armies picked Andre to end the world and gave him directions in the metal drum that he and his team found. In order to persuade Andre to gather all the components for his plan, Priya strategized for John to steal the box and then lose it. This way, her team could get them all back together. John agrees to help them. After a few days, John and Neil tell Kat on Priya's ship that they can't kill Andre yet, because that would set off the formula and end the world. According to Kat, Andre probably wants to delete himself because he has cancer and is dying. If he doesn't get to live, the world will end. John talks Kat into going back to Andre to keep him busy so that the team can protect the code before Andre dies. After that, Priya's machine flips John, Neil, and Ives' team around, and they start practicing how to fight this way for the next task. They take the team by helicopter to the Soviet city where Andre grew up, believing that's where the code will activate. Ives tells everyone in detail about the plan. There will be a blue team that moves backwards, and a red team that moves forwards. These 2 teams will try to use a temporal trap to pass information to each other. The blue team has Neil and Wheeler, and the red team has Ives and John. They will separate in order to obtain the formula. The cat waits for her other self to leave Andre's boat, while she sneaks on to find him. He has already created a self-destructing poison, so Kat makes every effort to keep him occupied. Soon, both groups reach the deserted city and start battling Andre's forces. Each team thinks the other is going backwards, but their watches help them stay in sync. As both sides desperately shoot at each other, soldiers are dying on both sides, and random buildings keep falling down or being put back together by reversed explosions. When the watches of both teams align, Wheeler's team initiates a massive explosion. This gives Ives and John time to sneak into the underground base. After setting off an explosive, Neil sees an enemy come backwards out of the cave and leave in a helicopter. Neil leaves his team out of fear and goes into an old building. He discovers the machine that Andre's team was using there. It's too late to warn the other team. The explosive has sealed the cave. Neil also flips over and gets on a truck. On the other side of the locked gate, John and Ives find a dead blue guard. John is surprised that the backpack has the same red strings, leaving a radio for Andre to discuss the end of the world with John while he works on the algorithm. The enemy turns the dead blue soldier around and shoots him when he attempts to hit John. When his body hits the ground, the gate opens, and John jumps on Andre's soldier to prevent him from setting off the algorithm. There is a fight, and after trading blows, John is able to push the soldier off the stage, killing him. Kat gets scared when she sees her other self returning to a boat while she is on the yacht. She shoots Andre and throws him into the water. Then she jumps too, and Mahir saves her before her other self can see her. Thankfully, John and Isaac have discovered the algorithm, and Neil strategically places a hook in a separate tunnel to extract both them and the algorithm before Andre's death triggers a bomb. Ives splits the formula in 3. He hide in a different place. After Ives leaves, John sees the red string and knows that Neil has been helping him all along. Neil finally admits that John is the one who hired him in the future. In fact, John has been in charge of the entire Tenet plan from the beginning. Neil needs to return to the moment of his death by the gate. After some time, Priya prepares to kill Kat in London, accompanied by a guard. But John shows up and kills the guy first. John tells Priya that they work together for his future self, and then he kills her too. Next, He sees Kat's happiness with her son. Don't miss a single moment of creativity. Subscribe to the channel now to join our community of enthusiasts. The video is over. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you next episode.